Oh, that happens with these things. Okay. Tonight, what we're going to do, it's totally, I guess you can't get the thing to reverse after you start it, huh? We're going to start it again. Okay. Tonight what we're going to do is learn how to build a business and an actual placement strategy. Now, this is not a company-approved training program. This is Bob Reid's. Now, this is how I, along with my team, we built an organization of over 70,000 people. And the people who followed the plan are the ones that were really successful. So, the very first thing that I like to tell you about is you, in any business and anything you do, you've got to have a plan, correct?
Yes.
Okay, this is the plan. Okay, so you're going to have a left team and a right team. Okay, now remember, I told you in your job description, you only have 5 things to do in your job description, correct? Number 1 is write a list of 50 people. Now you're going to end up making a list of more, but this is going to help you start putting that list to work. And the second thing is that you're going to commit 5 to 10 hours a week out of your life a week to learn. So 1 year to learn, 1 year to earn, 3 to 5 years to develop a constant income stream. So you get to choose if you want 50,000 a year or 100,000 or 150. You get to choose that. But wouldn't it be nice to have an extra couple of $1,000 or 5,000 rolling in every month for your retirement as residual income? Okay. So the other thing is what? Spend half an hour to an hour every day watching the videos and reading everything on your website. Well, the first thing you're going to do is watch that training video in your back office, which is going to tell you what to do with these lists and how to do it and how you can get started in your business day one, as soon as you finish watching that video. And the 5th thing you do is what? Attend an opportunity presentation or company-sponsored event, and attend a training session once a week. Now you can do it on FaceTime, you can do it on Skype. If you've got a group already, like we do, you can start a group. And since you're in college, guess what? A lot of college people are going to be wanting a plan B, if they only knew about it. So somebody's got to communicate it. But we tell you how to communicate it. Okay? So we don't want to twist anybody's arm to get into business. We only want people who have a good attitude about wanting to learn how and actually wanting to earn some gold and silver and build a walk-away income. Because you do it by getting in when a company's brand new. And the company's going to have a grand opening, when did I say? July 29th, 2017. And they're going to open their launch with people through the pre-launch period having earned more checks than any other network marketing company in history in its grand opening. That's going to be powerful, because they're only 700 short right now of issuing more than 2017 checks. Do you think we'll have 2017 checks issued by the company to individuals by July 29th? I think so too. So here's the plan. The plan's very simple. If you're married, you have family members and your wife has family members. And normally they don't entertain or talk to each other very much or see each other. So you pick a side, and on one side, all your family members are going to go. And on the other side, all your wife's family members are going to go. Your spouse, okay? Now, You have a side. Your friends are going to go on one side. Your wife's friend's going to go on another side. Okay? And you have a church. Well, pick a side your church is going to go on. All your church members go on a side. The reason is you don't want to split up your brother and your sister unless they don't get along. Then you don't want to put them on opposite sides. But if they do get along, they have common friends, you don't want them warring over who's going to get who. Okay? Same thing in your church. You don't want a church split because you got a whole bunch of church members that are in business together, and now they're fighting over who the next person's going to sponsor them. Okay? So you put them all in one line, all on one side. So they're all in a common business. It's going to make more sense here when I tell you the placement strategy. Okay? And then if you're at work, okay, if you at work, you're at an office or you have a common group of people that you work with in any organization, put them all on one side. So you're not competing with one another. You're all in a common business. So it's a one another business. So kind of think about that. That's the placement strategy plan. Okay? So you have one side and the other side. You already know where you're going to place them. And again, don't separate people who know people and have same overlapping social circle. You will create so much havoc in your organization that you won't be able to build business because they're always arguing about who's going to get who. Okay? Keep them on the same side. With that in mind, here you are. You know, you've got the company puts you in a tracking center when you get your membership. And so I like to call this the 21st century Costco or Sam's of the gold and silver market. This is really what this is going to be. I truly believe this will be a billion-dollar company, being the largest single retailer to the general public of gold and silver products in the marketplace. They're going to turn the industry upside down. Companies like Rosalind Capital, Swiss America, Gold Line, that you see advertised every day by gold and silver. None of them can match these prices. So you buy a membership, you get to buy gold and silver at cost. Now, you know you need to have some. Everybody needs to have some. So why not do it in a home-based business environment? Okay? So as I train this, you're learning some of the items that you use when people give you an objection as an answer to their objection. Okay? Now, I'm going to put everyone you personally sponsor is going to have a P in the circle. That's your personal sponsored people. Okay? Anyone that your upline places into your organization, that's going to be an X in the circle. And anyone that you personally sponsor, that sponsors a person, that's going to have a 2 inside the circle. Okay? So I want y'all to understand this. When you sponsor in, you're going to be on someone's left or right. Okay? So that means when you sponsor in, you have a left. That's a continuation of the left side. So I could draw the line where it looks like this, and that line be going straight through it. And then you have a line here. Okay, now your job is to personally sponsor 2 people. And if you get to work real quick, you might do it before someone in your upline is trying to place one of their persons on their left and right. But let's take, in this instance, that you don't. And woe and behold, somebody up above you placed somebody here because they need somebody on their left and their right to qualify to start earning a check, right? Okay. So, boop, boop, person just appeared in your organization. That might happen to you. It might not. But it might happen to you right after you join, or it might happen to you after you personally sponsor someone. But in this example, we're going to say you didn't have time to read your video, you didn't share it quick enough, and it happened. Okay? So now you go out, and the first person you sponsor, you want to sponsor them in what is called the driving leg. And see, you were placed on the left or the right of somebody. And when this happened, you knew where the driving leg was. But let your sponsor tell you, is their driving leg on the left side or the right side? Okay? And if it's the left side, okay, then, well, this is your right, huh? And left. I get them backed up with the camera, but then you place your first person in the driving leg. Why do you want to place them in the driving leg first? Why don't you place? We already got one here. Why not place them there? Wrong. Because if you get slowed or something happens to you, or you know, any number of things happen, you don't want to leave this person as what I call a dangling participle in the business. He needs to have some partners. So you put them in the driving leg first, and then you're looking to sponsor your second person, and then where do you sponsor them? On the opposite side. Now, in a case like this, your volume is going to be 100 and 100. Why? Because this person was placed here before you personally sponsored someone. If you personally sponsor someone real quick, then that would have been 200 because the X would have been below the P. Okay? So we're doing a little compensation plan and a little strategy at how to build a business. Okay? Now, you help your people while you still going through your list, and now this person gets really excited and they sponsor somebody real quick. The two means what? Your personally sponsored person personally sponsored a person, right? Now these people have a left and a right, and now you have 300 volume there and 100 here. This person also gets really excited and places a person here and there and there and there and there. They get really excited, that person. Now don't put anything in here because that was placed down by your upline, correct? Okay. So it doesn't have a number in it, doesn't have X in it, it doesn't have a P in it. That's somebody from above you. So you get credit for this. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You got 600 volume on your left. And you got 300 on your right. If you find somebody else that you ready to sponsor in the business, where are you going to place them? On the right, Andy, you're right. And here you make another driving leg because you and everybody on your right side, your left side in this example, they are going to be your driving leg that you work in teamwork with them. And it's a personally sponsored person, correct? And let's say that person got pretty excited. They sponsored their first person in what? The driving leg on this side. And they sponsored their next person here. And guess what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hello. You just earned your first check. Because it's more than 500 and 500 on each side, isn't it? You got $500. What if you did that in the first week? Wouldn't that makes you a little happy, right? Well, what if it takes you a month? It doesn't matter. What if it takes you 2 months? It doesn't matter. You're only doing it part-time. You're learning how while you're doing it. But some people, you ask, well, why do people get so excited all the time? Well, it's because, George made a few $1,000s. Woodrow's made a few $1,000s. But I tell you, my wife and I, we've made over 17,000. Well, we sponsored a lot more people a lot more faster than that. Okay, that's why. Okay, and it depends on you. Okay, now, oh, gee whiz, somebody up here, they're ready to get started too because they see all this underneath them and they hadn't sponsored anybody. Whoa, they need somebody where? On their left side, right? So see, this is kind of how the business grows. They place them down here. Now, Reid, do you know they did that? You had nothing to do with that. You don't even know it. Like Woodrow said, he had people all over the country. He didn't even know they were in his business. Well, guess what? That counts for you too. Okay, now you got 700. And let me just make an example that something could happen like this. Okay? This person right here could get really excited and build a business real quick like that. This person starts, and gee whiz, the first week, and you got more than 1,000 points. Okay? But your counter only goes up to what? 1,000. Okay? First week in the business. Would you be a little happy? That's why you hear these people on the conference calls. New people just joined the business last week. And now they got all these points in the contest. That's how it happens. Okay, just like that. Now, if it takes you 12 months for this to happen, that's okay too, isn't it?
Yes.
It's a good plan B. You're learning how. But if it takes you 1 week, and let's say, you've got what? Oh, about 10 people over here and about, let's say, 15 people over here and 20 people over here. And at the end of the week, you get your $500 step one, $500 step two, that's $1,000. You start the next week and they reset your counter to what? 0. Well, that's a good thing. You know why, Renee? They start counting them again. And so you got all these people that they would like to make a $500 check or a $1,000 check too, right? How do they do it? Well, they got to get started. They got to have what? One on their left and one on their right, and help those people get their check. And if these 15 people were only half as good as you and they only averaged 1 this next week, these are 15 new people. That'd be 15 new sales, right? 15 new memberships. This be 20 new memberships, right? Well, 20 times 100 is what? What? It's more than 1,000 points, but your counter only goes to what? Okay, 15 times 100, more than 1,000 points. You just made what?
$1,000.
Another $1,000. Now you might find somebody else that's ready to do this, right? Because you have only found 1, 2, 3, correct? Now you find somebody else. Andy, you've got to place them on your left or your right. And in this scenario, you've got 30 people over here and you got 40 people. And your genealogy report tells you how many sales are on each side at the very bottom of your report on the website. So where are you going to place that person? On the right side or the left side?
On that side, which is the right side.
The right side. You are exactly right. And you would place your very new person at the very bottom of what?
Driving leg.
Your driving leg. That is exactly right. Okay? And now, you help this person make their first check. Man, you're getting very excited, huh? and you keep helping that happen, and you just try to keep left and right. You try and balance up your sides as close as you can. Okay. Now, I'll take questions at the end. Okay. 1 second. Now, something else happens here. Everybody's buying their coin a month, right?
Yeah. Well,
So you're buying your coin a month. They're buying their coin a month. Coin a month counts how much in volume? 20 BV. Well, if you have 30 people during the month buying a coin, that's 600 BV. Now, it all probably doesn't come up in 1 week, but it's scattered out during the weeks, right? And you've got 40, that's 800 BV. You've got enough volume, 600, 800, that's a $500 check already, right?
Yep.
Do you see how of a no-brainer this business is? And when you learn how to explain this, well, we're making a video so to kind of help you. You can use it to show them how it works, okay? But now, you see where you place your next personally sponsored person is probably going to go on the right side or the left side. Let's say you put them down here. Okay? Well, you're getting started. Well, you get, every time they make a check, you get 5%. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You personally sponsored 5 people. So you get 5% every time they make a check. That's a bonus. That's pretty cool, huh? Now, remember, I told you that my wife and I are doing the business together, right? Okay. Now, you can only have 1 membership in the company, correct?
Right.
Okay. And let's just say that you have a wife and she wants to do this business with you. 2, or you want to partner up with you, or you got a spouse, you're the wife, and you got a husband, or you got a son or a daughter that you want to partner up with, okay? It doesn't matter. You can partner up with anybody. Okay, let's just say, here you are, and this is the driving leg. If this is the driving leg going through the right, and my wife is going to do with business I want to call leveraging, and she wants her own business, her own name, her own account, so it's her social security number. Well, she comes in right here, okay, for the spouse, and she's got a left and a right. And I'm going to place her where? Not in the driving leg. I'm going to place her opposite the driving leg. Why am I going to do that? Because this is how you make more money. If you place her in a driving leg, you've got 2 linear businesses, and you're not going to make as much money. And I'm going to tell you why. Because you like to make more money as you're building, not at the back end. Because as you're building is when you have the greatest chance to make your business grow. Okay? So now you personally sponsored someone. So look, if somebody from your upline, see, it's your spouse, but that's also a P, isn't it? Because you personally sponsored your spouse, right? Don't let her get sponsored by somebody else, that's for sure. Okay. Or, or your sister or your brother or, whatever you want to do it. Okay. And they got a left and a right. Well, now, when that person gets placed by someone that's trying to build their left and right, well, now that 100 points counts for you. That very first one. Why? Because you already started with one personally sponsored person. Okay? So when I came over here to tell everybody about the business that night, I already sponsored Pamela. So she was already in. Nobody's going to get above her. Okay? And so why did I do that? Well, I'm going to personally sponsor now my first person in the business, and I'm going to put them in the driving leg, because my driving leg is over here on the right side. That's the left side, isn't it?
The other right.
Huh?
That's the other right.
Yeah.
Coming and going.
Well, which side is it to y'all that you're looking at? Is that the right?
It's the left,
I'm looking at it, it's
the
the
way
left.
you've been doing it
It says right.
tonight.
If you turn around, look at it.
Okay. Well,
Flipped it.
there you go. Left side. Okay, left side. It doesn't really matter. The whole point is it's the driving leg. Okay, and you need to find out what it is from your sponsor. Okay, so now you got a personally sponsored here and a personally sponsored. So you personally sponsored on both sides. You're qualified to earn a check, and let's just say the same next time person you find, you're going to do what? Personally sponsor them there. Correct? Okay, and then let's say this person gets to work kind of like it did before. Okay, they want a check. Do you see that? They want a check, right? Okay, and let's say that person, is kind of slow, but they sponsor one person, and then this person sponsors a person because they're sponsoring them in what? This common driving leg. They're not over here, they're over here. Everybody's got a left arm and a right arm. Okay, and now you got 400 here, and you got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So you got more than 1,000 over here. Okay, you need 100 more points to earn what? $500 check. So if you find somebody else who wants to do the business, where are you going to place them, Andy? In the driving leg on the right side, correct? Right there at the end. Okay, now your wife has a counter and it's got 0 here and it's got 400 here if she sponsored that person, 300. Okay? If she sponsored that person, meaning your second level. Okay? Now, let's say we earn that check this week, this month. They zero out your counter, correct? That right? And that's a good thing because they start counting over again. And you got more people helping you on your teams this week than you had the week before, correct? And they're also buying a coin somewhere once a month, correct? Okay. So let's say, these people here, you got what? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12. So you got 12 people here. And so let's say the next week they're only half as good as you. You had 6 new people come into business. So you got a total of 18. And now you got 600 points. Do you see that? It just fills out on the left or right, no matter how it goes. Do you understand that? Okay, so you got 600 points came up on the left side because you had 6 new people joining your left team by leveraging. You didn't find anybody this week, but you did find somebody this week, but you placed them where? On the right side in the driving leg, because why? That's where you need business. And let's say this person found somebody and they wanted to make a check. They saw how this thing was working, right? And it starts going down there, and let's say, you had 500 this week. Now you've earned another check, correct? Another $500 check. They erase it. But what doesn't get erased is your spouses that you personally sponsored. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So now the spouse has 1,000 points in that counter on the right. Correct? You see that? The reason I'm showing you this is I want you to keep sponsoring in your driving legs, left and right, until you are making a check up here every single solid week. Every week. Once you are turning a check every week, guess where your next person you're going to sponsor is going to go? On the left side of your wife. Because y'all a team, right? And your sis is on your right side. And when you get 5 people, and if you personally sponsor another one, you're going to sponsor them where? Right there. Okay, you're earning a check every week. You got some pretty good confidence about this business, right? You got good posture. So if you got good posture, I think your recruiting level is going to go up.
Yeah.
Your ability to communicate the business. Nobody can tell you it doesn't work, okay? So you're going to sponsor them here, and you're going to help these people get started. And if you help these people get started, just getting kicked off here, bingo, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's 500 points. Do you see that? Now, you got anywhere between 500 and 1,000 up here. It could be 1,000, it could be 500. It's turning a check every week, remember? So maybe it's 1,000, maybe it's 500. It doesn't matter. It's turning a check every week as your organization is growing. And this was your weaker side, okay? And so, but this is where you have leverage. And so now you get a check here, your wife does, and they set this back to 0 right here. Now, they set this back to 0, and now you got a business coming up here, and you're watching. What you are doing is you're watching and you're tracking at the bottom of your thing. If you got 60 sales over here and 42 over here, then which side is your weak side? The right side, correct?
Right side.
So when you go to sponsor somebody, where are you going to sponsor them? You're going to, but you're going to either sponsor them on the left side of your wife or the right side of your wife, but it's still on your right side. Okay, and let's say you sponsor them right here, and it's a P, and now you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have 6 personally sponsored people on your right side. If you sponsor 5 on the left and 5 on the right, you get a bonus check on every one of the 2s and not just the P's. So you get the P's and the 2s, right? That 5% bonus check every time they earn a check. That's going to be big money. Okay, so this is called leverage. Notice you're still building one leg, but these 2 legs are around your partner's tracking center. So now you're leveraging, okay? Because before you just kept putting them under here, right? See, in my old business, we could make as many purchases as we want, but in here, you can't. Why do you need a membership to buy at cost? A person doesn't need more than one membership, right?
Correct.
So the company couldn't legitimately give you 2 memberships. So therefore, only 1 membership per person or per tax ID. Now, I happen to have a company. My company likes gold and silver. My company wants to have its membership because a company's like a perpetual thing, LLCs and companies. So, you know, who I give dividends to on my companies, you know. And so I want to tell you this. The reason I'm going to tell you that is because if you have a company and you put it in an LLC before you tell anybody, you might want to sponsor your company and sponsor your spouse, and then you can have the opportunity to do the same thing, but you can build two businesses the same way and get paid on 3. That's leverage. Now, remember, this is not a company training. This is how I used leverage in my last company and how one might be able to use leverage in this company should the situations fit and be right for that person. And that's the only reason that I bring it up. But do you understand the building strategy? You have a plan of how to do your placement, and you kind of try to keep as much harmony in your group as possible and really make it a team of people helping people. Because if you have people infighting over people, you aren't going to have much success. You got to get that cut out, you know. And the other thing is, don't try to build 2 businesses too quick. Get your tracking centers paying every week. Get your legs long enough so it's paying every week before you start diluting your effort. Okay, it's called driving legs. What you really want to have is 2 long, large legs in the business. And that's what creates that what? Residual passive income. Okay? Okay, now questions.
Well, I had one, but you kind of erased everything. Before, when there was no spouse right below you,
Uh-huh.
and on one of those legs, you was very long on one side, and
Correct.
right and below it, that other person sponsored one to their right,
Okay.
and you kept saying, well, every time you get a new one, put them at the very bottom. Well, aren't you neglecting that one person that's sitting over there by themselves?
You gotta go to the next open spot.
Here, please, let me, I'm videotaping this, so let me answer all the questions here. What you did, your question was, if you got a person over here, like here, right there,
Yes.
and then you are personally sponsoring people, and this is your driving leg here,
Yeah.
and this leg got really big, okay? So the next person you're going to place is on this side. That's your question, correct?
Yeah. Well,
And you're going to place the next person over here, and you say, why don't I place them right there?
yeah, to help that person out.
Okay, here's why. Because you are diluting your efforts. You just split your leg into 2. You now have a response. If you place your person over here, right there, to help that person out right there, this is your personally sponsored person. You now have 2 driving legs on the same side. Okay? So you're going to get torn because your communication is a game. Everybody says, well, didn't I tell you you're going to tell people which one they're in which driving leg? Okay, when you sponsor someone and you tell them you're in my left driving leg, they're not in your left driving leg. Your left driving leg's over here. That's the business, the leg that's growing the biggest and the fastest. When you place them and splinter them off over here, you're kind of creating your own dangling participle. Here's what might happen. This person and this person, they may not do much or little and may go away. This person's sitting out all on an island, all by themselves. Who are you going to help? If you start putting people here, okay, you're taking away from all the people who are helping you make an income. They're the ones helping you make an income. Who should you help? The people helping you make an income, or the person that can't fish? You help people who help making an income. And you can't legitimately say that they're in your left driving leg, because if you put that person there, then this person here, the next time you go to sponsor somebody, what are they going to say to you? Put one on my side. Now you got a whole bunch of people asking you to place somebody in there, and they're going to all say that you're playing favorites. If you keep my rules, there aren't any favorites.
Question.
It's rules. And you go by the rules, and it's simple. Yes, ma'am.
Remember how you said unless you have, say, two people in the same family who do not get along?
Unless you have two people, that's in the placement strategy, the plan, the strategy. I try to keep family in the same family. Unless if you have a brother and sister that can't be in the same room with one another, please do not put them in the same business. Because one of the things they're going to ask is, I'm under her or under him, and then they aren't going to do it. So put them on the opposite. Say, no, you're competing with them. You're over here on my other team. I'm putting you over there, and I'm putting her over here, or whatever. You know? Just show them. Nope, they're over there, you're going to be over here. Now you go out and you tell me who can build a business quick. Motivate them. Make them get in competition.
Isn't that going to put you with your dangling participle?
No, we're not putting a dangling participle, because you're going to put them both in a driving leg. You got two driving legs. When you look at you, you've got two driving legs. You. Okay? Now, you are in a common leg. You are in a common leg with people in your upline. That makes a common driving leg with you and your upline partners on your left side. But now you're starting your own driving leg with all the people you personally sponsor and they sponsor this way. Because to earn a check, what do you have to have? A person on the left and a person on the right, correct? That you personally sponsored. So if a person way up here that got into business back in November the 20th, and they've only sponsored one person, and they didn't put them in the driving leg, they put them on the other side, they're accumulating volume, right? Because they sponsored one person. But they're not able to earn a check until they do what? Sponsor a person in what? The other leg. So then they'd end up sponsoring a person under them that has to be active. Buying a coin once a month. That's powerful, y'all. I mean, if you look at this, I wish everybody could see mathematics like I do. I can see it. I don't have to sit down and figure it out. If you could see this, how it grows, how it multiplies, you would be so motivated, so upbeat, that nothing would stop you for the next 2 years, and you'd be talking to everybody that breathes, that fogs a mirror. I'm telling you, this company in the next 3 years is going to go through its first initial momentum curve. That's before its international momentum curve. It won't even meet its growth until about 10 years. And then just imagine, if you got 100,000 people in the business, and only 10% of them get a new person that next month. How many people join the business? 10,000 people. That's 10,000 sales coming up through these lines. And I told you, this is going to be a $1 billion company. Next question. Yes, sir.
I got two questions.
Okay.
Let's say that you join up and you go 6-8 months, you don't sign anybody up, and somebody above you is signed up a whole bunch of people below you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then you finally sign up somebody, personally sponsor somebody. They're going to go way down at the bottom of all those people that have been at now.
And that's a good thing.
Right, but, okay, and then you get another one on the other side too. Do you start getting all these people that are in between you and your very first personally sponsored, they're below you, so do you start getting commissions off of all of those guys?
Absolutely. Great question. Because, see, we call that sometimes being positioned. Okay? Remember, if you have a spouse, you might want to partner up with your spouse to be in the business. Okay? And let's say you build this business and it's going real big, real long, but on this side it's zero, right? Okay? And guess what? It'd be zero if your spouse hasn't personally sponsored anybody. The counter will accumulate every week, but it'll go to zero if you're not active and you're not sponsoring somebody. Okay? Now, but as soon as your spouse decides that they're going to engage here and start sponsoring somebody, where do they sponsor their very first person?
They left.
On the driving leg, right down here at the bottom.
At the bottom of all those people.
Right at the bottom. Because all these people, to start getting a check, they got to sponsor somebody in their driving. Don't break the rule. Always sponsor your first person unless it's your spouse or your partner, like here in the driving left. If it's your spouse or your partner that y'all live in the same household, put them on the other side. Okay? So you can leverage later. But good question. As soon as she sponsors that person, or he sponsors that, as soon as the spouse sponsors that person there, this next week, all that volume coming up, and she can have 1,000 right there the very first week.
And then you just got to get one person on the other side.
And start going over here. That's right. When you personally sponsor a person, right here, your spouse is number 2 then. Then this person starts building. Okay, and you get 500 points there. Bingo. You're going to start building this leg. You get a $500 check. It all zeroes out on that one. 0. And now you have leverage here, and this thing fills up 1,000 the very next week. Okay, you see how that happens?
Yeah.
And it fills up 1,000 up here too. You see that? Okay, now you may only get 200 this next week. That's okay, you didn't get a check. You got a check up here at the top. But the next week, you probably get 600 or whatever. You got over 500, you get a check. So as soon as you activate that person, activate that center, you can start earning money on it.
Okay.
And you accumulate volume.
All right, now I got a third question.
Okay?
Let's say I sign my wife up over here on the opposite side,
Mm-hmm.
and then my first real person I sign up on my driving leg way down here.
Well, I have to look at it, they're both real people.
Yeah, I know. But what I'm saying is, I'm not.
Because I look at my wife as a real person. She's getting the checks, they're in her name, and they go on her tax return, you know?
Yeah. But if I did that, I probably wouldn't activate her with the coin of the month until I was ready to start putting other people on the side. So I got to concentrate on this driving side. When do I put the first person on her side?
Well, when you are making a check every week, I'll guarantee you, you will already know the answer to that question. And if you don't, I'll help you. I promise. But I'll guarantee you, when you're making a check every week up here, is there a person in this room that's done something like this before? Would say that he wouldn't automatically know the answer to that question?
Yeah.
Right? Right, George?
But to make a check, you gotta get somebody on the left and the right. My wife is the first person on my left, and everybody else is on my right, my driving leg. But you said put my wife on the opposite side of my driving leg. Right?
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna have to put somebody over there.
You certainly are, and I said that's exactly what you're going to do. Here's the spouse. Here's who you personally sponsored. Run under your spouse. You see that? That's the P. Here you are. Here's the P. You're right. You start building underneath on her. Look, everybody's got a left arm. Look at it like a head and arms. When somebody gets attacked, your head is attached to somebody's left hand or right hand. Okay? You got a left hand and a right hand. You're going to grab a head of somebody. Now they got a left hand and right hand.
And that might be your wife there.
It might be your wife.
Yes.
If you know your wife is going to do the business with you. It might be your daughter over here. I don't know. But you make up your mind who you're going to. Since I did this business before, I made up my mind real quick, ahead of time. I looked at it, I saw the plan, I saw what I had to do, and I came into business, I sponsored my wife, and I sponsored my company. Okay? That's the way I do it. But that's me. Because we're 3 separate entities, 3 separate tax returns, 3 separate tax IDs, and we wanted to have 3 separate business entities. Okay? Because I like leverage. I like to build 2 and get paid on 3.
Do you see?
Unless we get mad and get a divorce, you know, that's the only way we'd break up. But guess what? If that happened, she'd have her business totally separated. It's not joint. It's not joint property. Mine, my business. Hers, her business. And the company's the company's business.
Okay, I still
So
think
it solves that problem also, by the way.
All right, he still has
What I'm
questions.
trying to figure out, I got, let's say, I haven't signed anyone up yet. But Mr. Venable signed up, my brother signed me up. So you got Mr. Venable, you got my brother, then you got me. So should I put my wife right there on that same leg, or should I put them on the opposite?
I just answered that question. On your side, you don't have anybody. On your weak side, that's what I was explaining.
We don't have anybody on either side.
See, because
He doesn't have anybody on either side.
But one side is your driving leg that you have in common with your partners, and they know what it is. Find out from your sponsor where the driving leg is, through your right or through your left. Okay? But that's okay. That's good questions,
Okay.
but we'll get them answered. You know, everybody can get the questions answered. What I want you to understand, everybody here to understand, is you got a placement strategy and you got how to build a business. You won't learn it all in one training session if you hadn't done it before. People who's done a binary before just picked up a whole bunch of tips if they didn't do it this way. And they weren't successful, they may now find out why they weren't successful if they think about it in retrospect. Follow my rules, is what I say. That's the key. Okay, let me turn this thing off.
I got another question.
Oh yeah, we'll do that, but let me just get this thing off. It's getting to be